Manifestation. How do we manifest what we feel and what we believe, or another nudging thought that just will not go away and just keeps turning up in our lives all the time? How is that manifested? Can it be manifested? Well, it can. It doesn't matter what you think, what you feel. This is in the process of manifestation of the thought or your feelings or your dreams or imaginations. But once you get it, after that, forget about how you feel. Forget about being upbeat, being positive, being optimistic, having knowledge, being wise. Dreaming it's just going to happen. If this ingredient isn't in there with the dream or a thing that you want, forget about everything within your soul other than one thing, and that's hard work. You don't get it without hard work. It doesn't come. And then you've got to manage that hard work to balance the portion of what you're deriving from your effort to go towards that. I'll give you an example. Quentin Tarantino, when he done Reservoir Dogs, he was working in a video store, for God's sake. That just says everything, but I'm not surprised. The bloke's working in a video store. He loves movies. He's watching movies all the time, and he has this nagging passion to do a movie, to do a script. So he writes Reservoir Dogs, and when he showed it to a few other movie producers and buffs, they thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. But he had no money, and he was an unknown, and nobody was prepared to back him on capital. So what he did, every second week, he saved up enough money out of his pay to go and hire a camera to shoot the scenes. But he only had it for a certain amount of hours because that's all he could afford. So he would use those hours to its best potential, every second out of it in filming. And that's how he started filming. He had no money, but his drive and his passion was incorporated with effort. He had to work hard. He had to work hard at his video store job, and then he had to work hard doing the movies, the one that he started. So it's without that hard work, you won't get it. Like I can remember when I bought my first home, and to create the dream more practical, always knew I was going to do very well in life, but to create that more practical and um, what I did, I bought a car, and I paid $11,000 for the car. It was a VH SLE Commodore, And I couldn't get finance for it. I had no credit rating other than an AGC loan that I got for $1,800, where I thought hopefully that's going to give me some kind of credit rating, but it didn't. And I really struggled because I was unknown. I'd had no credit. I'd been a criminal all my life and a drug addict. Um, but I finally got on. I got on. So I got the loan, and it was a beautiful car, armor glazed white, V8. Uh, yeah, the Bevan was emerging out of me. I loved it. I've always loved cars, and I had a dream. I thought, okay, well, this car is going to be the leverage for me to buy my first home. But I was working selling advertising, and I was working hard. I was the first one there in the morning at 8 o'clock, and I was the last one to leave every day at 5 o'clock. Even the boss used to walk past my booth and say, Dean, they will be there in the morning. Let them have dinner with their family, mate. Give them peace. I used to say, I'll be here in the morning. I'll be here at 8. And I was the first there, and I was the last out. I worked my heart out at that job, and I got very, very, very good at telemarketing um, through that effort. And there was some weeks I was putting $1,000 towards that loan, but it was the hard work that gave me the leverage to do that. So I put that car back in the same car yard 12 months later on consignment, and I sold it for $13,000. Now, back then, it was unheard of that a person in the general public made money out of cars. You do sometimes, but not generally. People do, but yeah, you don't really make money out of cars. So I sold that car. I bought the house on a loan. I had $140,000 on it, and manifesting the dreams, well, they were happening before this, but this was an extension of the work that I put in to create the dreams and the manifestations that I had within that had to be created. And if that hard work wasn't there, I couldn't have done that. And so I've got this house, and 2 years later, my brother and I are in partnerships in a business relationship, and he decides he wants me out of the business. Well, I was making at times, 3 times the amount of payments that I had to make on the house each week because I was making so much money. And I built up equity in that property in a short period of time. So my brother come to me one day, and he wanted me out of the business, and he paid me a substantial amount of money to walk away. And and this is the other thing. You can call that luck. You can call that that was meant to happen for me. But I firmly believe I put myself in that position, and I took the risk for being paid out from that guy. And he took risks also, and he had a decent crack at it too, and he still has a decent crack today. He's a very successful business person, and I'm proud of him. I look up to him. So he decides he wants me out. He pays me out another. I'll get 360,000 for that. I use I think it was about 135,000 that I still owned on the principal of the loan. Initially, a lot of it goes to interest when you first start paying. Um, Principal and interest. Um, yeah, so I use that money. I pay the loan off. I own the house outright. I go down and I buy another unit in Coolangatta. I sell the house. Um, I've got a heap of cash. Um, and I use that for the expansion of more property. That was the dream. I knew I didn't make money out of the first house that I bought, but I knew that's okay. I've got to get out of it. That area wasn't moving at all. And the place that I bought in Coolangatta, I did very well out of that. I picked up 100 grand on that deal. Uh, and that was where the old patch used to be. It was called Belly the complex. I bought it straight off the developer. And then I realised through learning about negative gearing, I I bought another um, place at Balinga, one better, and I only paid 87,000 for that, and I sold that for 160. And I just kept going. I just kept going and going and going and going and going and going. And I wasn't using my money. I was using bank's money. Um, I realised that cash is king, and and I didn't want to get caught in a downturn if something happens in the property market and I was too exposed. But I did get caught, like everybody else, in the 2007 GFC, and I lost about $6.5 million in that. So, getting back to the process of where this started, it was work, it was work, it was work, and once I started attaining so much money, it was still work to manage it. It was work to make decisions to move it here. It was work to try to minimise tax the best possible way that I could. It was work managing, nearly 100 people working for me. Um, it was work managing my relationship with the mother of my kids. It was work being a dad. Um, it's all work. It's all effort, and going going to that work every day is holding myself accountable in coping, in dealing with it when I'm under the pump and pressure, and learning to relax and staying cool. So we only manifest out of action. If you want to get lazy and make excuses for yourself, and you can talk the talk, that's all good. But that really won't manifest into much. You'll end up chasing your tail in the end like a dog with distemper. You don't want to do that. So it is work, and if you are prepared to work hard, then enjoy the coming events. Have a good day.